All right, welcome back, everyone, to the pregame show to get you in the know. Today, the Saints face off against the Minnesota Vikings, and we have a couple of inactives for the Saints. Jake Haener, to be expected. Jimmy Graham, another kind of surprise, healthy scratch. We also have the inactives of the rookies, Isaiah Foskey and Kendre Miller. And on the other side, we have Joshua Dobbs, NASA astronaut, quarterback extraordinaire, that will be starting for the Vikings. Not a whole lot of inactives that weren't expected over on that other side. Justin Jefferson was said to, not really be expected to play, just kind of getting some different reps, some different practice stuff going on with him. But the matchup should be good. The Saints have kind of struggled with quarterbacks that are a little more mobile, guys you can't really force to be in the pocket, and Joshua Dobbs is very smart. So I expect him to take full advantage of that against the Saints defense. Um, there was some discussion in the week about Dennis Allen saying he doesn't make halftime adjustments, and whether it's the players adjusting to the play style or whatever it may be. We have seen some nice changes, talking communication that's happened on the defense. And the defense has struggled a little bit in the first halves, the past couple of weeks against the run, particularly, and quarterbacks getting out of the pocket on them. But nonetheless, I think a lot of that had to do with the lack of film on the quarterbacks that were available. The guys that we've played recently were young. The Bears quarterback last week, and um, you know, professional film is one game. That's always difficult to kind of go for. But in other news, Michael Thomas is playing. He was seen on the field signing autographs for fans pregame, so that's good to see. The Kenner PD and Saints wide receivers are having quite the ordeal lately, but nonetheless, Michael Thomas will be out there. And like I said, we are down Jimmy Graham, Jake Hunter, Kendre Miller, and Isaiah Foskey on the Saints side. Some of those, were to be expected. I think Jimmy Graham, everybody is kind of wondering what's going on with Jimmy, and but I don't think anyone really expected Jimmy Graham to come in and be, a consistent target, a consistent threat. It's fun, it's exciting when he does get the ball, and I think that's kind of what they were going for with Jimmy Graham. As far as the two rookies, Kendre Miller has had kind of lower leg issues, for a while now. I think that was kind of known coming into the draft. So that's interesting to see. He was out with an illness last or week before last, I believe, and this week after leaving the game last week, he is out with a knee injury. And then Isaiah Foskey is also out, today. So two rooks down. But nonetheless, we have depth on the defensive line, and we're fortunate to have depth on the running back position with both Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams being back healthy off suspension, whatever it may be. So nonetheless, we are good there. As far as the Saints defense goes, like I said, they struggle with quarterbacks who are a little more creative in the pocket. The Patrick Mahomes archetype thing, and um, so it's going to be interesting to see how they handle Dobbs. Like I said, he's a very smart guy. He was an astronaut, and it's going to be fun to see how the Saints defense handles him. The Saints defense has been getting some heat lately as far as their performances. Some people are questioning, um, you know, what they're doing in the first halves and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the Saints still forced five turnovers. They're tied for first in the league with the Jacksonville Jaguars for the most turnovers. They have one of the better turnover differentials in the league, and they lead the league in interceptions. So it's all about making adjustments, in game adjustments, and things like that happen that the Saints have done a really good job at. Um, Jumping into some betting talk, we'll go anytime touchdown score. As far as the Saints game goes, Foster Moreau has been involved a lot lately. Um, I think we're going to have some red zone touchdowns again, but I'm going to go with what feels like um, a tried and true anytime touchdown scorer lately. But I'm going to go with Taysom Hill. whether he runs the ball from the quarterback position, whether he runs the ball behind the bank package with big number 99 and Kalen Saunders. No matter what he does, he seems to find a way to get in the end zone. The Saints are also relying on him a lot in the red zone, which is something that's great to see as far as what's going on with the offense in the red zone. You definitely want to see your quarterback get involved in the red zone and be more consistent in the red zone. And last week, Derek Carr had 2 touchdowns in the red zone, which was great to see. One may have been right outside the red zone, but nonetheless, good to see them kind of working him in and not 100% putting that on him as far as scoring in the red zone. Because when you have someone like Taysom Hill, and the statistic is there when the Saints let Taysom Hill touch the ball more than 7 times, as far as running it goes. I think we're like 18-1 at this point. Feels like a no-brainer. Keep doing that. Keep grinding that into the ground. If teams can't stop it, it's like the tush push, right? Keep doing it. There's nothing a team can do about it. Why not? So I like Taysom Hill as the anytime touchdown. So if you want to get a little more risky, or you're looking for a little parlay action, I do like the idea of Foster Moreau getting a touchdown as well. So I'm going to go with that. And then around the league, I like David Montgomery this week. I think they're playing the Chargers, if I'm not mistaken. So that should be really fun to see David Montgomery kind of, I think he's going to be able to stretch the field a little bit for them. The Lions are, pretty fun to watch right now in general. So kind of jumping into the around the league games, we have the Falcons and the Cardinals and the Titans and the Buccaneers. The Panthers have already lost. They're now I would say completely out of the NFC South race, even though the NFC South is pretty bad right now. But nonetheless, I think the Panthers are completely out of it. The Falcons, Kyler Murray's back, and they're going up against the Cardinals. So that should be an interesting game to watch. But I also think that the Falcons find a way to win that one, keep the NFC South close. And then the Titans, it's really dependent on what team shows up for the Titans and what team shows up for the Bucs, because I said earlier in the season that the best and worst thing about Baker Mayfield is, some games he looks like Johnny Manziel, and other games he looks like, Eli Manning. He's kind of a crapshoot as far as quarterbacks go. So that'll be interesting to see what team shows up for both the Bucs and the Titans. But this week could be another week of really interesting NFC South, matchups, not against each other, but, against their respective teams. Again, the Falcons playing the Cardinals and the Buccaneers playing the Titans. Both of those games are early games. Again, Panthers have already played, so we will kind of have a better picture of the NFC South going into the afternoon, evening games. So that'll be really interesting to see. I'm going to go. I think the Saints win today. I don't think it's a very high-scoring game, but I'm going to go 24-14 Saints. And then I think the Falcons win. I think they beat the Cardinals, and I think the Buccaneers lose against the Titans. So that's going to be kind of around the league NFC South predictions. And then, but yeah, other than that, we'll jump into keys to the game. Key number 1 is keep the red zone efficiency. Last week I think we were at 75% red zone efficiency, which compared to earlier in the season, that's really, really solid. So keeping that red zone efficiency is going to be crucial. And then number 2, use the bank package. It's working. Kalen Saunders running in front of Taysom Hill. It feels like an unstoppable force and an immovable object moving in the same direction. I don't know what law of physics that is, but it feels like we have it. And then last but not least, avoid slow starts on both sides of the ball. We have a lot of, in general, the offense, 5 turnovers last week. You feel like you should win a game by a bigger point margin when your defense gives you the ball 5 times when the other team had it, but we didn't. So I'd like to see the Saints just have good starts on both sides of the ball, not have to worry about adjustments, not have to worry about going in at halftime and coming out understanding the offensive scheme a little better. So yeah, I would like to see better starts on offense and defense this week. I didn't think, week 1, 2, and 3 that we would be asking the defense to have a better start, but here we are. But nonetheless, like I said, I expect Josh Dobbs to kind of have his way maybe the first drive or two, because it's always tough to game plan against a quarterback that does not have a lot of game film in front of you. And Dobbs has played on a couple of different teams already, whether it just be practice or whatever. But he came in last week and won the game. So we just have to be aware of him, be aware of what he can do. And other than that, this has been the show to get you in the know. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the post-game show that will air around 3:30 p.m. for the Week 10 matchup, the Saints versus the Vikings.